I'm very.
This is the Nerdy Things Podcast. This podcast contains strong language, adult themes, and poorly developed ideas. We apologize for nothing. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 54 of the Nerdy Things Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Kevin. I am joined, as always, by Jules. Hey, Jules.
Heyo.
And by Tim. What's going on, Tim?
I'm tired.
Why are you tired?
All right.
Yeah, Tim spent the night in the hospital last night. Don't worry, everybody's healthy. Just there. So now I'm tired.
I bet.
Tired and unprepared.
Anything.
Okay.
I'm just now reading the news topics.
Oh, that's cool.
I know one thing about one of them. No, two of them. That's good. And my normal routine is if we see a big movie, I go see it for a second time or third time, depending on how much I liked it, the night before, late at night, so I can have my phone out and take notes and not worry about it. And I had plans to go last night. And
oh no, you only watched it once. Oh no.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I only saw this movie. We're talking about Black Panther. Hey, how's it going? I'm Jules Human. But Tim, there's always this weird, like, I always hate going to the hospital. I don't know. It's just really weird, and it just has this weird aura. I don't know. I've never slept over at a hospital, but do you feel it all night? Yeah,
it's not fun. I'll tell you that. Well, let's put it this way. I've never slept over in a hospital bed.
Oh, okay.
I've only slept in the uncomfortable accompanying chairs that they allow to sleep in.
That's horrible.
Not fun. But
No,
I
don't know.
It's all good.
I've spent plenty of time in hospitals. I love the hospital.
Yeah, I think you posted a picture on Twitter of you getting not the hospital, but you getting your dentist.
Kid filling, and I was like, hold on, I need a selfie of this.
I don't know. Everything's just so white, and it's just so like well lit, and I'm just
Starting the race conversation early, are we?
well, you know.
We didn't even get to the movie yet, and we're already talking about how white the hospital.
I am. I'm very white. That's all right. I get that. My teeth are not. That's fine.
Oh, my teeth are right.
Different hospitals have different vibes, though. So when you go to like serious hospitals in Boston where people are sick, it's very quiet. It's very down. But when you go, like we were in labor and delivery last night, and it's a different attitude because not everybody's there as happy at the moment that they're there, but they're generally there for a happy reason.
Sure.
So the nurses are a lot more joking. Like if you door your room cracked, like the nurses are all like just laughing and joking with each other. Whereas in sick hospitals, if they laugh and joke, they're like off in a corner and they're whispering their jokes.
Yeah.
Laugh. It's like a totally different atmosphere.
I get that.
So except for the screaming women who are actually having babies.
Oh boy.
Like 5 years ago, I actually spent a while in the hospital because of gallstones, and the nurses did not know what to do with me because I would just crack jokes every time. Like I'd be in pain. I'd be like, oh God. And I'd say something. They would like not know how to react. So
that's funny. So yeah, we're here. We're tired. We're demonetized because YouTube demonetized a lot of people. So I don't know how you're going to pay for that hospital. Well, I don't know. I don't know how you're going to pay for that hospital visit, Tim.
Yeah, well,
that's going to come out of the funds, but
insurance. But
not coming
were
out
we
of
monetized? I think you can only be demonetized if you were once monetized. So you're still unmonetized.
There you go.
But we have a harder obstacle to overcome to be getting to the monetized point of view.
Sure. So go subscribe on our YouTube. Go watch us for 4,000 hours, and we'll get monetized and probably demonetized really fast.
We need 200 subscribers too, right? Isn't that the new thing I was hearing about?
Sure.
I thought I read something.
1,000? I thought it was like 1,000.
Is it 1,000? I thought it was 200.
I don't know. I'm the YouTube guy. I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
It's a lot. We're never gonna hit it.
We're gonna get there.
We will. But yeah, everything else you can reach us on social media at Nerdy Things Pod. That's Nerdy Things Pod. You can send us an email at nerdythingspod@gmail.com. You can visit our website, nerdythingspod.com, for the latest nerdy news updated daily, and links to our merch for shirts and more. Links to YouTube, like we were talking about, to watch the podcast episodes because we do these in video. Our Patreon for extra content like bloopers and early access to our stuff. A couple weeks ago, we talked a lot about our Patreon and our Patreon feed and all the cool rewards and all that stuff that you get: shirt, hat, Tim's wearing the hat. There's going to be a custom shirt by Kevin. Kevin's wearing a I'm a Cool Nerd shirt. You can get that in the merch store, all on nerdythingspod.com. And you can text us or leave us a voicemail at 978-78-NERDY. That's 978-786-3739. And we need more voicemails because no one's calling in. Y'all are commenting, y'all are tweeting us, y'all are leaving us a bunch of stuff on socials, but we want to hear your voices.
Yeah, I promise. If you call the voicemail, you will not get one of us. You won't have to interact with anybody.
Yeah.
You can just leave a voicemail and it can say anything you want.
Pretty much.
Love it, hate it, make it anonymous. It does not matter. Please, just let us know.
So we're still running through the iTunes reviews, and you can leave us an iTunes review as well if that's easier and you'd want us to hear your voice. This one's from Dan Moyle. He said, fun show with great nerd topics and personality. A lot of fun to listen to these guys talk about the things I enjoy with a different perspective. I found them through a Facebook group, and now I'm a fan for sure. And he left 5 stars. So what do we give him? What do we give
a 5-star review right there.
That was pretty good. I dig it.
9.
A 9 out of 5.
Okay. 5-star review. 9.
No, we all grade on a different scale. That's what I love about our review reviews. Kevin gives 5s. You give like hot tamales or something. I forget.
Yeah, there you go.
Decided. I give 9 out of 10.
7 hot tamales. That's
7 hot tamales. Okay.
Out of 7 or out of 8?
Really hitting the race thing really hard right now. Huh?
You were the one that said it, not me.
No,
I forget. It was like, was it chili peppers, hot tamale? I don't remember.
Oh yeah, I think it was chili peppers or something.
Yeah, that's what it was. I knew it was a pepper.
Anyways, that was good. Thank you. Leave us iTunes reviews. We really enjoy them, and we'll if you leave a bad one, we'll let you know. So let's go to the nerdy news.
All right.
Nerdy news.
At 6 o'clock. Very nice.
So first up on the nerdy news,
Oh,
it
jeez.
was the same earbud this week. Look,
What?
same one. 2 weeks in a row, same earbud.
Yay.
That's
so they're working.
news. I love them. They're awesome. Review forthcoming. So, but yeah, just that's news. So I wanted to start it off. That's the headline, right?
This week.
That Tim has the same
Front
earbud
page.
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Front page.
I totally
All
can.
Yeah. There's a picture of Tim with thumbs up. Shaking hands, like kissing a baby or something.
Fake news.
Yeah.
What? I can't hear you. These are great.
Okay, but not headline news. Let's get to the other news that's not.
Also in fake news this week,
Yeah.
a scientific paper was accepted to the American Research Journal of Biosciences that was basically just a synopsis of an episode of Star Trek Voyager.
Oh my God. How?
Well, I'm guessing because this is one of the scientific journals that it's like they were like, "Hey, we'll publish this for $50." So I'm pretty sure that they'll just publish anything as long as you pay them. But the guy
What publication is this?
this is the American Research Journal of Biosciences.
So this is not a peer-reviewed journal, as they're known.
Guessing not.
Because I can't imagine any peers reviewing this and not figuring it out.
No, I mean this was the type of thing where this was absolutely, to anybody that knows anything about Star Trek or Star Trek Voyager, this was so glaringly obvious. It's based on an episode where basically they experiment with, I think it's transwarp, then the transwarp barrier, and Tom Paris becomes this mutated fish creature thing, and the paper thanks Dr. Louis Zimmerman, which is the hollow engineer creator for this the emergency medical hologram.
So there was a lot of red flags.
Oh yeah, no, they
That could've-
thanked the United Federation of Planets in this paper. So there's zero chance that someone read this and went,
Oh my God.
"This is accurate."
Oh no. Kevin, I know you would be that person. I need you to write something up and try and get it on there for the podcast.
Well, this has been something that has happened before, because I know of several other people through the last couple of years that have done the exact same thing and submitted like scripts to a TV show. I'm trying to think, one of them was recently they submitted an entire script. Oh, it was Adam Ruins Everything, who has a podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Where they submitted actual scripts of their show to a bunch of journals like this and actually managed to get one of them published because he heard of someone else doing this as well.
Wow.
I mean, this is showing that with the internet and with all of these outlets for information, there needs to be some sort of oversight or consensus on what is good and what isn't good, because you can point to a website and say, this is news, here's a link that proves my point, and it's a website you made up.
Here's the thing, though. Have any of you been to this website?
The American Research Journal of Biosciences?
No.
Yeah, so I just went to it. And I'm sorry, anybody who goes to this website looking for scientific fact, I'm gonna question it the minute I click on the link. It 100%. Is a very fake looking website.
I'm there now. I don't doubt that. But here's the thing. There are people who post links to theonion.com on places like Facebook.
Well, right, exactly. But that's their fault.
Thinking it's real. Yeah.
You bury the lead. If you just post that there's a headline that, we can turn people into fish people, and you have a link to a website, there are people who are not going to question that. There are people who are going to start screaming GMO and fracking and just blame everything on everything and believe it 100%, because there are people in this world who are not taught to think critically. They don't.
So there's two issues at hand. One is the responsibility of the public to finally recognize. I know Trump's out there screaming fake news, and he does it in the wrong context, but he's not wrong. There is a responsibility on the public right now to understand that anything that comes their way on the internet, they need to check multiple times. You can't just take it at face value, unless it's like, if it's something like if it's the Washington Post. And now a lot of these publications do have a bias, so it's also incumbent upon you, I think, to know that the Washington Post, if anything, maybe leans more to the left. That the New York, which was one in New York that leans towards the right. I mean, you have to know that. But if it's a major publication, okay, maybe I can take it a little bit at face value. But if it's if it's arjonline.org, that doesn't sound like somebody who had this website like on the forefront of the internet. Like they haven't been around very long. Let's put it that way. So you click on that website, the first thing you need to look at is go, maybe I should double check this source. However, here's the other thing. If arjonline.org is going to present themselves as a news source, and in their facts, the number one FAQ, are the American research journals peer-reviewed? And the answer is all articles published in American research journals are peer-reviewed. Well, then this website, not only, they need to be shut down because they're not upholding their end of the bargain. So Correct. It is on the public to say, all right, listen, I need to double and triple check anything internet that comes my way. But if that's going to be number one in your FAQ, somebody needs to shut these guys down because they're trying to present themselves as a medical research journal or as some sort of research journal. I don't know what. But this is a messy situation all the way around.
That would shut them down. There's no truth authority that exists in this world.
If they're American, I guess, you know what? I guess they put themselves in too big an umbrella because it says American research. I was going to say, if it says medical research journal, then I would think that the American Medical Association could put sanctions on them. But they don't really. They just say American research journal. That's very broad and unspecific. So, exactly. Yeah. I guess you're right on that one.
You can't even get some of these guys to take a good press photo. Like, come on. A lot of these are missing.
Just the layout itself. It's like hack job.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anyways, so that happened. Wow. That's ridiculous.
That's pretty funny.
That's a trash website. Oh, God.
Right?
Well, actually,
all right. So, PSA from the Nerdy Boys. If we say it, it's probably true. But if anybody else says it, triple check.
Also, here's a little helpful tip for scam websites. Look more legitimate.
There you go.
Yeah, it's not tough.
If you're going to be asking for $50, put $50 into the website first.
Right? When I get a phone call from like V01796 and I pick up the phone and they're like, "Hi, we're calling from your credit card company." I know that it's a fake and it's always a robot. But come on, be better. Be better. Typos in these scam emails. Oh boy. So I wanted to talk about, we actually got a request to talk about this. The first 3 episodes of Stargate Origins, the prequel web series to Stargate went live on StargateCommand.co this past week. And I know that we have 2 fans at least that give a shit about this. Hi, Tim. Hi, William. But I watched them. I'm, 10-minute episodes. I think they're a little over 10 minutes, including credits and everything. It's kind of neat. I think that this is a good restart to get fans reinterested, to try to show that this is something that can work, because it should. I mean, I really think we need more sci-fi, and I think we need more Stargate, because it's a fantastic world within which we can show things. This, however, was not well produced.
Really?
Yeah. So it has the guy that played Trip Tucker in Star Trek Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the actor's name, but he plays an older gentleman, and the Stargate in it is very like plastic, not just clean looking, but actually moves wrong. It's supposed to be weird metal that no one's ever seen before.
Yeah.
But the scenes where it's moving, you can see it like flex a little bit.
Oh no.
It definitely has an air about it that it's like a fan film made.
Sure.
And don't get me wrong, it was made quickly, it was made on a small budget. They did a phenomenal job with what they had. The director of this has done web series before, and this is a low budget web series. For what it is, I think it's fantastic. I just wish that they had reshot 1 or 2 scenes and maybe not used baby powder to age up one of the main actors. That's yeah, it's really uncanny to see this guy who is not old, and he's just got like that weird, almost like high school play gray hair going.
Yeah, kind of like a Christopher Lloyd in that one movie that we watched.
Yes,
Right.
yeah.
Clear water, something water. I don't know. Yeah,
that was so bad. I've tried to forget
it
it.
was just so like makeup on, caked on, just a.
That movie was so bad, Jules, that I literally haven't given it one thought since we did our little talk about it. However many months ago that was. Yeah. It has not crossed my mind once until you just mentioned it. That's how bad that movie was.
Oh God. But have you thought about the new Kobra Kai thing? That's
Speaking of low budget web series.
Have you put any more thought into it? Have you seen the new oh man, whatever teaser this was?
Trailer. Totally. Put a lot of thought into it.
Okay, so
not a good actor.
Who?
Ralph Macchio. I'm throwing it out there. Ralph Macchio.
What are you talking about? Ralph Macchio's fantastic.
No, maybe he was.
In what?
But no.
Listen, both of these guys, Ralph Macchio and William Zabka, got the roles of their life as themselves in How I Met Your Mother.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Never be any bigger.
Love Billy Zabka.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what put me off about this whole thing. I'm laughing the whole time because it is, for anybody who hasn't watched this trailer, go watch it. It's just watch it. So this is the Karate Kid reboot. Apparently, Johnny is restarting the Kobra Kai dojo, and what's Ralph Macchio's? Daniel is opposed to it. I don't know if he's gonna like have his own students, if they're gonna fight each other. I don't know what's gonna happen. They did face off in one scene. It looks like somebody was gonna crane kick someone else. It might happen. But Billy Zabka is reopening the Kobra Kai dojo, and it looks like he's opening it with the same mottos and the same, thing behind it that they had back in the day. No mercy, kill people, rah. And from what I saw in How I Met Your Mother, William Zabka wants to be a good guy. Like, he told us all that his whole life he spent getting booed and people threw popcorn at him on the side of the street. And now he's going back to his old ways, and it makes me disappointed because, I thought we were learning that William Zabka
was a
good guy.
Yeah.
Thought he changed, man.
I'm wondering if there isn't some sort of switcheroo in this where maybe like that's on the wall, but then they like paint over it with a big circle with a line through it in red, and they're like, "We're the happy fun dojo now. Snakes for your friends." I don't know. Like I could see it happening because this has that same sort of low budget quality. Like I distinctly get the feeling when they are squaring off that they're in that like position, and then all of a sudden they're going to be like board meeting, and then just walk away, and have like, some sort of formal meeting with other people, but they're not and they're like in geese and everything. Like I don't know. It had that weird like staged within a thing quality.
Sure.
Maybe they're playing the switcheroo. Maybe they're making us think that it's Johnny that's reopening the dojo, but it's actually Daniel that's reopening the dojo.
Oh no!
What? Like he's turned old and greedy or something like that. Who like he let the big All Valley Championship money go to his head, and he grew up to just be the opposite of everything we knew about Daniel's son. I don't know.
Now would fans let that happen? Because I know a lot of fans love their characters. I know they went super crazy about like what's his name, Luke Skywalker. They went crazy with like the characters of Harry Potter afterwards whenever she wrote the Cursed Child and all that stuff. Would they let this character go bad, do you think, or will there be this huge uproar if that's what happens?
Well, this is where the fans actually have the choice, because this is on YouTube Red, and as of right now, nobody subscribes to YouTube Red.
We're never gonna watch it.
So if they turn out to flip the characters on their heads and the fans don't want Daniel's son to be a bad guy, then nobody will subscribe and essentially kill the series. However, they have the opportunity to subscribe if they want to. So yeah, this is the ball's in your court, Karate Kid fans. The ball's in your court. You tell them what you want right here. You either become the first YouTube Red subscriber that pays and beyond the free trial in the history of the streaming service, or you don't.
Okay, so I hope we get a Baywatch situation going on here, where I hope once they open up the dojo and we see Daniel training his students, I want to see Jaden Smith show up. That's all I need in my life. I want to see Jackie Chan, Jaden Smith show up. I want them to call each other by the same name. Hi, Daniel. Hi, Daniel. And just have that weird confusion about it, because that is the only thing that is going to make this better. And by that, I mean it'll make it worse, and I'm still not going to watch it.
Yeah, I don't want Jaden Smith anywhere near this. I try to erase.
I love Jaden Smith,
Karate Kid, from my memory.
That wasn't that bad.
I wrote a scathing review when that came out.
Oh God.
Scathing review. Everything that made the Karate Kid great was absent from that movie.
Okay, true.
Everything.
Karate.
As a regular
kids.
As a regular film, as a fun, hey, look at what he's doing.
Yeah, and I think when I wrote a review of that on my Facebook page, because that's what I used to do back in the day, I think I said if they wanted to name it like Ninja Kids, I would be like, okay, this movie's all right, like whatever, no big deal. But when you want to name it the Karate Kid and tie it to that franchise, and you crane kick the heart and soul from the series, I have an issue with that.
Oh man. So are you gonna have an issue with Kobra Kai? No,
I don't know. We'll see. Like I genuinely have to see what they do with this. It looks like it's going to be terrible, but I genuinely kind of want to see where this goes. I'm curious. Genuinely curious.
All out and then do a free trial of YouTube Red just to binge it.
If any of y'all listeners want to throw the Nerdy Boys a free trial, or if y'all have any, want to let us borrow your email, that's cool. Why just do it? We'll throw you something, maybe. So anyways,
I've said time and time again that all the life lessons that you have to teach a preteen kid is held within the original Karate Kid movie.
Waxing on and then waxing.
How to clean
painting the fences.
How to paint.
Yeah, it's all there.
No, without any of the hand motions, I guess, because we don't need to teach preteen kids how to wax off, and then you're making this motion.
Wow. Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Telling people to go wax off. Hey, yo.
You went there.
Go wax off.
You did it.
All right. So things from our childhood being revived. We have CBS has finally picked their new Magnum P.I. So Jay Hernandez, who we know as Diablo from that horrible Suicide Squad movie, he was decent in it. Horrible lines, terrible character, but he was good actor in it. I'm excited.
He was in Bad Moms.
Magnum again. He was in Bad Moms? I didn't see Bad Moms, I don't think.
Yeah, he plays Mila Kunis's love interest, the single dad that all the moms in the school go nuts over.
Oh, yeah, fantastic! Yeah. I will definitely not have to watch that movie.
The first one's actually really good, genuinely good. But anyways,
Yeah. So, I mean, any thoughts on this? I hope he gets the bushy mustache. I hope he's wearing the Hawaiian shirt with no undershirt under it.
Oh, definitely.
Here.
Yeah.
I wonder who they're going to get to play Higgins. I volunteer as tribute.
I'm cool with this. I'm cool with a Latino actor getting this big part, or a leading part in a role that wasn't originally written for a Latino actor. I think that's cool. However, we all know that I confessed my hopes and dreams last week that Miles Teller would both play Magnum P.I. and the dad in Three Men and a Baby, and those dreams were dashed rather quickly. There's a little bit of disappointment in my heart, but I'm still okay.
What is Miles Teller working on right now? Let's check it out.
Everything.
Miles Teller,
He's got like 4 movies in the can.
Does he though?
Pretty much.
All right, let's see what
3 movies out in like the same month last year.
Okay. Yeah, he's angling to be the new Human Torch in the new Fantastic Four.
Another one.
Even though he was Mr. Fantastic,
he's going to be all of them.
So that Marvel will then redeem him and make him hotter later on. But we'll get into that later.
The Ark and the Aardvark, he's going to play Gilbert, which is a voice.
I know all of those words, but I don't know how any of those words go together.
Apparently, this is a new show new movie that's coming out. The Ark and the Aardvark animated show movie. That's what Miles Teller doing this year. All right,
Look at upcoming projects. I bet you there's.
That's what I saw. Too Old to Die Young, a TV series. He's working on that. Well,
okay.
Doesn't look like he has anything good.
4 upcoming projects: Too Old to Die Young, The Life and Times of the Stopwatch Gang, Untitled John Belushi Project.
Those all sound great.
Well, they will be because Miles Teller's in them.
Oh God. Anyways, Jay Hernandez, I'm down. He was pretty good. He's a good actor, and I'm curious to see what happens. And Magnum P.I. they're bringing it back. I'm cool with it.
So upcoming projects. Lauren Cohan from Walking Dead, who plays Maggie, does not have a contract for the upcoming season 9 because AMC has been lowballing her on offers because she wants money that looks somewhat like what she should be making on this. And
does she want man money, Kevin? Is that the problem?
Oh, darn it.
She wants equal pay, and that's not weird to me.
Man.
How dare a woman ask for man money? Jeez.
But yeah,
I mean,
why
the audacity for to ask as much as Carl
for equal pay?
Carl,
right? Seriously,
you're telling me Carl's making more money than her? Jesus,
he's a man. I assume so.
Oh yeah, she's going to an ABC show called Whiskey Cavalier, which is touted as a high octane, hour-long dramedy about an assassin and something else at loggerheads trying to kill a guy.
Whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
more
happy.
like a good cocktail than a TV show, but I support her in her quest to get equal pay.
Hell yeah.
Just like when we saw that with Hawaii Five-0. I thought that was a baller move by those two to say, screw you, I'll find other work because I've been working for the last 15 years. And good for Lauren Cohan doing the same thing. She was in a movie. She was the lead in a freaking movie last year. So, yeah, she's got leverage. Screw you, Walking Dead. Screw you, AMC.
She was using this as just leverage to get them to actually give her a deal. And then she said, screw it, and signed with ABC. So,
that's fantastic.
Yeah. You know,
wild. Yeah.
They may kill her off. They may write her down for the season, and she's in a couple of episodes. We'll have to see how AMC reacts because this is fairly new news. But, you know, they may do Carl. I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out.
She gets bit, or Carl transfers the bite to her somehow.
Yeah, exactly. We have some sort of like healing shamanistic ritual, and she just takes his bite into her.
There you go. Oh, okay, cool.
No.
Yeah, but she was one of my favorite parts. She was one of my favorite actresses in the Walking Dead. She did a really good job, and I mean, hey, get the hell out of there if they're not giving you money.
No, she was one of the few people that humanized that show, and when they started de-emphasizing her and took away her love interest, I just didn't have any interest in the show at all. Like she rudderless after that, and they didn't write her well after that at all. So
I didn't see any episodes after Glenn died anyways. Not one. So I couldn't comment on that. But the reason why we stopped watching the show is because Maggie and Glenn were that was the reason for hope in that show. And they were actually from season 2. That was my favorite part of the whole show, were those two, both together, but also individually. I like them more than Rick, more than Daryl, just my own personal opinion. And I think that was a poor decision on their part to do what they did. And that's why I quit the show, or it was my best excuse to quit the show anyways.
Right. No, that's all you need. But that's par for the course. A lot of these big production companies, they seem to make weird decisions. And I realize I'm on the ground. I am just someone who enjoys watching these, and I am not a decision maker. But at the same time, I don't think you need to do everything you're doing to make money. Like telling me ahead of time that you're making a Transformers franchise that's going to be 73 movies into the future, and you've got Transformers 6 and or 7, depending on how you number them, coming out after Bumblebee, and then you cancel it. Just make a good movie. Just make.
Did they cancel the future, or did they cancel the Bumblebee movie?
The Bumblebee movie's still coming out. That's the one with
John Cena.
But that is still coming out. And the one that is coming out is the one that they had planned for after that. They've dropped it off their slate.
Oh no.
Still talk that they're doing the Hasbro shared universe with, like, I don't know, I think they have Micronauts and hippos, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be wonderful. They should definitely do that.
Yes.
You know
That's
what?
gonna
I
be
really
awesome.
I actually wouldn't mind if they would reboot Transformers and do a shared universe. If it was like Transformers G.I. Joe, that'd be great. Think about that. If you
That'd be
had
pretty wild.
giant vehicle robots and your favorite well done G.I. Joe guys, how can you screw that?
Yeah, definitely. That would be really good. Also, what would be kind of interesting, I don't know if Transformers has ever done any Lego stuff, but I feel like that's sort of in the same line somehow, about like, you would be able to build the Transformer into something, and then you can build Legos into something. Maybe Transformers and Lego can go somewhere, because the Lego franchises usually do really well. And
But
I would
that's
actually
toy competition.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
But that cuts out their fun. Like, that's the fundamental thing here is the toys. So that's one toy company partnering with another toy company.
Yeah, exactly.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. What about what was the Air Force version of Transformers?
Gee, I don't.
Autobots, was that what it was called or something?
There was
that's the car and all that stuff, but
Autobots.
They had cars, but there was a specific cartoon, a spin-off cartoon that had the airplanes, right?
You are thinking of the GoBots, that is not a spin-off of the Transformers, but it was owned by the same company. There was a weird history with the Transformers and the GoBots.
I thought the GoBots and the Transformers were together.
I love the GoBots. No,
I'm just looking at a bunch of planes now.
Yeah,
anyways.
We're getting side.
You know what would be a cool concept? Like, forget the Legos. What if the Transformers came out with a movie where they mixed robot cars with Arthurian legend?
No.
What if they did that?
No,
that wouldn't work, would it?
Nope, Colin. No, that's a terrible idea. I don't even know how.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Why would I even come up with that? That's so.
The way you could make that work is if you had an actor play Merlin who you've already had play someone else unrelated to Merlin in the same series. That'd be
Kevin. That is such a terrible idea. It would never get made.
Oh, that's right.
Why would you even possibly think that would actually get turned into a movie?
I don't make movies. This is not what I do.
That's not his job.
I'm not even.
I guess not. Because gosh, I mean, if someone whose job it was to make movies came up with that idea, surely they'd be shut down like in pre-production meetings. That would never even make it past storyboarding.
No, they'd be fired. That'd be awful.
Is anybody excited for Bumblebee? Really?
No.
I
need to stop. I don't know. I don't
like
get
the
it.
DC movies. I don't know how this fits continuity, and that question alone gives me anxiety.
Sure.
Not in any like I can't go to work sort of way, but I really don't want to have to expend the energy to figure out how this fits, and if this fits, just make a good movie. Just make a good damn movie. You don't have to make a prequel. You can make a Bumblebee movie now. Just make a fucking Bumblebee movie. That's all I want. I don't need the classic design. you're giving me the classic design, and people are all yay. Doesn't matter.
Whose favorite was Bumblebee really before the actual movies came out? Nobody cared about Bumblebee. Come on.
No, actually, anybody who grew up in the 80s cared, because Bumblebee was the human robot, because he was the one with the fears and the thoughts that he voiced, because he had a voice that all of us, like, he was the one that interacted with Spike, their human companion, and all of that. So yeah, everybody, like anybody who watched the original, like, what was it, 83 Transformers, loved Bumblebee. I mean, you loved Optimus Prime because,
He's the guy.
Peter Cullen had the best voice ever today. But Bumblebee was the
Spark.
Yeah.
Not again.
I mean, they ruined Bumblebee in the first movie when they took away his voice. And they just have never recovered from it. We never saw Bumblebee as a Volkswagen Bug, which was his entire goddamn point. He was the weakest of the Transformers, but he was the one that always managed to save the day by doing done when it needed to be done. So it doesn't work anymore. He's now this warrior king thing from space that can only speak in radio cliches. I don't identify.
Shia LaBeouf, go get Megan Fox and slap high five to Mark Wahlberg, and he will be a substitute for you. We don't know why he's here. We don't know where you went, but we'll continue without them. Wahlberg, Allspark.
It's still making money overseas and all that, and that's definitely the only reason they keep making them. Let's get it going.
That's
no
it.
More Transformers. I'm done with Transformers.
We got a couple of birthdays this week. We get February 22nd, Steve Irwin.
Oh.
Third is Emily Blunt and Josh Gad.
Crikey.
Nice.
That's a good birthday. I love Josh Gad. He's so funny.
24th is Steve Jobs.
Oh.
25th is Carrot Top.
Wow.
Gosh.
And Rashida Jones.
Oh,
and the 6th is Michael Bolton.
Yeah.
The saxophone man.
Love Michael Bolton.
So go wish them happy birthday on Twitter and tell them the Nerdy Boys sent you.
There you go.
Yeah, tell Steve Jobs what happy birthday.
Oh God. And Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Black Panther, because I had some thoughts about that.
Main topic time. So as we've said, we're going to be talking about Black Panther this week. We have seen the movie. We have opinions, and hopefully that's why you're here. Are going to start by doing a little bit of non-spoiler, just to give people time to shut this off and go see the movie. Why haven't you already? And then come back to us. So, yeah.
Ever since you did the Kevin synopsis in Harry Potter, I think people really like that. So if we can get like a Kevin synopsis of Black Panther,
I will.
I get stopped on the street. People like come up to me and go, Tim, can you just get Kevin to give a synopsis of something? It happens all the time. Can't wait.
God.
I'll be happy to do that. I'll do that once we get to spoilers.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. But yeah, it's a really, I don't want to start it. Never mind. Don't.
This is on spoilers version for this. The trailers have been
How hyped was this movie?
This movie
was so unbelievably hyped.
I was afraid this movie wasn't going to live up to the hype. I really was. It's been so hyped. And the one thing I can tell people that haven't seen this movie that may be listening to this now is go see it. Just go see it. It is a phenomenal movie. Is it the best Marvel movie? I don't know. I'm going to leave that up to you. I actually interrupted a bunch of people in the theater arguing over the order of Marvel movies or the order of superhero movies. And I had to yell at them, and my wife had to hold my arm and calm me down. But we were waiting for there are 2 after credit sequences in this movie, so do not leave the theater before you've seen them unless you don't care, which is fine because
oh my God,
the story much, but you're not a real fan at that point.
No.
But yeah, I mean, this is the story of Black Panther, which is Marvel's, I think at this point, most prominent Black superhero. And he is from the fictional nation of Wakanda, where he is king. And
wait, Wakanda's not real?
No, it's not real. Yes.
It's funny. All I kept hearing about all week was how this was a great celebration of African culture.
Well, it
Oh,
shows a lot of what people think are stereotypical African cultures, and it shows that it's normal. I mean, this is such a celebration of tradition and history and technology and
History of a fake country.
community. Like this was a movie that really did a wonderful job showcasing different culture without making it a parody and without making it
sure.
anything it wasn't. Like this just handled it very well. And I think that the director, Ryan Coogler, did a phenomenal job of that. I mean, it really was just so good. Like this lived up to my expectations of the movie. It was
Yeah.
10 in my book.
Yeah, it definitely just blended that whole technology of Wakanda that we already knew. If you knew the comics or if you knew anything about Black Panther, that Wakanda had with the amazing technology, the forefront of technology that's hidden away in this African place, and it did bring it, a very good juxtaposition between that and the tribes and the traditional stuff, the traditional music I talked about in the video that I made about Black Panther, and it was just a fantastic overall, just really awesome to see these two different things, very different things blend together with the dress, the how amazing the colors were, how amazing the colors of the costume design, all that stuff, the music, but it had all this technology and it had this 21st, 22nd century, sort of feel still. And it was an amazing blend between the two, very far left and right. And it executed it perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, I think that this was a great continuation of the Black Panther that we saw in Captain America Civil War. We got a small taste of him. And this is gonna be spoilers for Civil War. If you haven't seen that, I feel nothing for you. Um,
I
in
feel
Civil
nothing.
War, there was an explosion at the embassy in Sokovia, I believe it was, and that explosion was perpetrated by the villain of Civil War, Zemo, making it look like Bucky from Captain America had blown up the embassy. That explosion killed King T'Chaka of Wakanda. His son T'Challa was the Black Panther and hunted down the Winter Soldier. And it was, I mean, that was the whole point of the movie was that destruction. And that was our introduction to the Black Panther in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We saw a little bit of his suit. I think we saw one of the flying ships that he used, but we didn't get a real sense of where he was from and what it meant. It could have been that that was the only tech they had. It could have been that that was a mixture of magic and a little bit of technology. It could have been a million different things, but this movie did a wonderful job of sort of fleshing that out.
Oh yeah. I kind of want to talk about Wakanda as a whole because we hadn't, like you said, we hadn't seen it at all and we didn't know how we were going to take it. This being right before uh, one of the biggest, most anticipated Marvel movies, right before it, and they're introducing this whole new city and all these new people. And I
Yeah.
think we all had our apprehension about. We were like, how is this? They only have one movie to flesh this out. How is this going to work? Are we even going to feel anything? But really, Wakanda felt more like home than a lot of places in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't know why. It just this whole movie just made it seem so lived in, and it made it seem like they knew what they were doing. These characters live their own life in Wakanda, and we're just taking a peek inside of it. And that's how it should be whenever you're, character creating or world building. It feels like it's already been lived in, and I can see that. And these people have their traditions. These people have their own way of doing things, and I'm an outsider looking in, and I felt really good about Wakanda, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. They did it in one movie. Okay, I'm cool with that. I know everything I need to know about Wakanda. I saw it all. It looks, I mean, I didn't see it all, but like I saw all I need to see
Good.
to, make it seem awesome. So
Do we have anything else we need to say before we start getting into the spoiler version of this? No? Good.
I don't
I'm
think
trying
so.
to decide whether my thoughts are spoiler or non-spoiler.
Well, save them for spoilers. The tease
Yeah,
people.
sure, why not?
What a great tease. Before we get
This movie was greatly hyped. Was it overhyped? What does Tim think? I don't know. Stay tuned for more.
Yeah.
I recommend seeing the movie. Tim, do you recommend people go see the movie?
Oh, for sure.
Jules, do you recommend people?
Yes, go see it.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna go see it twice.
All right. I'm definitely going to see it again. So we're going to get into the spoilers. If you are still listening and you haven't seen the movie and you don't want it to be spoiled, please pause now. Just pause.
Go visit us, nerdythingspod.com and all that stuff. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Okay.
And then come back once you've seen it.
Come back.
So, holy crap, what a great movie. I loved everything about the movie except maybe the first 10 minutes was a little awkward for me. I feel like they did a lot of talking and not a lot of showing. And then they showed us anyway. And I feel like we could have done without a lot of the talking. It starts with a kid with an American accent asking his dad to tell him the story of Wakanda. And
all right, so I missed that. So I actually walked in this movie 2 minutes late, and I felt completely lost for 15 minutes.
Wow.
So I came in when King T'Chaka, which we find out was King T'Chaka, shows up in the apartment. That's that's right where I picked up.
Oh, okay.
And the thing, I think the thing that kind of made that confusing is I'm not sure I liked the casting. I feel like that was supposed to be 92, right?
Sure.
I feel like he looked too young relative to how he looked in present day. It was very confusing. I'm like, wait, is that supposed to be the guy who was killed in the embassy? Because he looks like, I don't know about the time jump.
The actor that played the dad.
What's that?
That was the actual son. That actor was the actual son of the guy who played King T'Chaka. So
okay, cool.
Is pretty spot on. That's why, even seeing him, he looked like T'Chaka. He even looked like Chadwick Boseman. He looked like T'Challa. It was so I liked that. I mean, I get what you're saying because T'Chaka
in storyline,
yeah. I mean, I think the father is shorter, so I know exactly.
Well, it wasn't that. It just, to me, it looked like an odd. I don't know. He looked too young to have aged as much as he aged in the last 25 years.
In-universe explanation. That's the herb, the purple heart-shaped herb that they ingest as the Black Panther that's keeping him young. As soon as he stops, all of a sudden he's like,
okay. Yeah, which that'll bring me to another whole thing later, but yeah, okay. I just thought it was a little confusing to start.
I did like the animation when they were showing the black sand in almost like a James Bond introduction where it's showing all the different things that the story is talking about. I did think that was kind of neat, and then we see that carry over into the sequence we get with the Black Panther present day.
Yeah, I don't think they could have done that any better. That was a quick here's a lot of information, here we go, and it's oh, this is really cool. This is an innovative way of showing it, and I'm all here for it. Sure.
I just think we could have had some other way to introduce the fact that, because that was all there to set up that the tribes were separate and not much else. And I feel like we did that when we had the fight at the waterfall for dominance, when T'Challa was made to be the king. When we had M'Baku show up, we could have then had the explanation for the fact that he was running the white gorilla tribe, and that's the fifth tribe. We see the other four. It
could have been condensed. I get what you mean. Yeah. And whenever they asked each tribe, do you have a champion that you want to bring? Do you have a champion? It went through that whole thing, but it's we already know. You just told us a little while ago.
Exactly. So I found that just a little bit awkward, but that's completely forgivable because it sets up the world for people who have never seen this movie or these movies before, and they're really hoping to bring in people who have never seen these movies before. And the numbers are showing that they're doing exactly that. This movie already made domestically as much as Justice League did on its entire run.
Mm-hmm. And it hasn't even been released in China.
Well, no. Yeah, it's a Marvel movie, though. I mean, that's, of course.
That's exactly right. But this is also a good movie. It's a good movie. It's a very good movie. Ever. This is the behind of only Avengers. It's the fifth best opening of any movie ever.
Yep.
How do you beat that? It's beat by Avengers,
You beat it by maybe one of the first four best opening movies ever.
I mean, really, this is just. Oh,
sorry. So listen, I'm going to render an unpopular opinion, and I'm going to say that I fully grasp and understand how important this movie is.
Oh wait,
But
before you say that,
yeah,
this is we do understand how important it is, how important representation is a whole lot of the times. And again, we're two white guys and a Mexican guy talking about it, so
right.
please take that however you want it. But we are gonna not like some parts, and that's because we don't like some parts, and it's not because of representation or not because of color or anything like that. It's just we have some problems, and we have to nitpick between the movies, and we do that with all the movies that we review. Right. So go ahead and go.
Yeah, I was going to get into that whole thing where I'm just a white dude talking about this anyways, but I will say I get culturally how important this movie is, and I absolutely love the fact that you have black actors that are playing the leading roles in this movie. I love that, and that they're not just that they're black actors, but that they're good actors.
Exactly.
One of the things I loved about this movie actually were the performances. I thought the performances were all outstanding across the board.
Oh, yeah.
I can't look at one performance that I thought was disappointing. So there's that. However, I think the movie is being overrated because of how important it is. I think it's possible to separate and say this is a cultural phenomenon, this is a tremendously important movie, and then say, as far as Marvel movies goes, it's very good. But in my personal opinion, and that's all that it is, somebody else might disagree, not as good as Ragnarok, not as good as Guardians of the Galaxy, not as good as, a couple of the Iron Man movies, like just for what I saw, and I have reasons for that, and I'll get into it. But I think that this movie is being a little overrated as a movie itself because there's problems, and I actually think these problems will come and bite the Marvel franchise on its butt pretty soon.
Sure.
It as an action movie, I think as a superhero movie, I didn't have any problem with this. I think it is as good as Ragnarok. I think it's as good as Guardians. It had action sequences. It humanized the main character. It showed his vulnerabilities. Even when he's in his invulnerable suit, he can still be hurt. And
how?
Because we saw that when they're in the last fight with
by the technology that they possess.
Sure, but they're not the only ones that possess that level of technology. We have no idea how the Asgard technology would interact with anything they do. Are the Asgards superior to them? Perhaps. Is Thanos superior? Almost definitely with his gems that he is going to have in the next movie.
But so far, we know that any of the superior things that they have is just an attack. And this suit absorbs attacks. This is the first superhero, the first, good guy I've ever seen who, when you hit him, it makes him stronger. When you shoot him, it makes him stronger. But actual attack on him makes him stronger. That's a problem.
But all of that is disabled by sound. I mean, Shuri at one point tells us that the vibranium is too unstable to transport at high speeds on the train. So they created the sonic disabler, or whatever she called it. So there's zero chance that Tony Stark would not be able to come up with a modification for his suit, or even just tell his suit, emit a pulse at such and such a frequency that completely disables it. If Tony can do it, any one of the villains they've fought up to this point can do it.
You say Tony can do that, but the technology that these guys possess is far beyond what anybody else has at this point. They say that they're catching up, but they haven't caught up yet.
I understand.
So, while they're going to share vibranium and share some of their technology with the world, I very seriously doubt they're going to share the one weakness that it has. I'm pretty sure that's not the thing that they're going to share with the rest of the world. I just think you have brought up many times the inevitability of power creep in certain movies, and I think this might be the one that puts us over the top. You have an invincible superhero that, when attacked, he's actually made stronger. That is a problem for me. I am not going to easily buy any of the scenarios that they come up with to play around that. Now, Marvel has proven to be geniuses, and they may be smarter than me in this case. I'm just going to say, because of how they've set this up and because of how they've explained this technology, it's going to take a lot for me to buy whatever they try to put in its path.
Right. I mean, as of right now,
really just say that's just writing, though. You can write in whatever weakness you want into the Black Panther's suit.
Sure, but if you just randomly write in a weakness, and that seems cheap to me. So this is my point. Like it's going to take a lot for them. Whatever solution they come up with, and I'm sure they've got one, it's going to take a lot of selling for me to buy it at this point.
Every time you hit the Hulk, he becomes stronger. And yet in Age of Ultron, they wrote in that when he's sung a certain lullaby, he goes nighty-night. It is the same thing. I mean, I get it. He is a really strong character, but so is Superman, and they have kryptonite and many versions of that. And not only that, but you can just break his neck, apparently. You've got so many different things you can do with superhero characters that are invincible. I mean, we have upcoming Captain Marvel, who is even more invincible than invincible. We have Thor, who is completely invincible, except when he's not. I mean, Thor is even more so than Black Panther, because Thor,
except for the fact that he's not, because again, anything that he, like, if he hits him with the damn hammer, he absorbs that and then throws it back at him. The Hulk gets stronger, but he gets mad. Well, if the Hulk goes and does Hulk smash on Black Panther just takes all that in and goes, boom, get off me, Hulk.
But Killmonger was wearing the Black Panther's backup suit in the final scene when the I think it's Dora Majori were fighting him, and all they were trying to do was take his necklace. That is all they would have to do, because the necklace is the suit. They had him, the three women who are amazing fighters, but just normal people. Three normal people fought him to a standstill and were seconds from taking him down. That is a weakness.
But they didn't take him down.
But they could have. That's my
point.
And
he just got the suit. Like, just learned how to use the damn thing.
All right. You know what? We're going to put this to rest, because I think you're arguing the wrong things, and we're allowed to have different opinions.
Yes, I agree. Right? I think, yeah, as of right now, it does seem like he's super invincible, or he can do all the things that Black Panther can do. But, you know, it is in Marvel's court, I think, to see what they do with it going forward.
It is.
That's definitely something we'll touch on.
They set up a situation where, for me personally, it's going to take a big sell job for me to want to, for me to believe that whatever solution they have around that. They created a problem. They didn't have to, but they created a problem.
Sure, that was a good con to the thing. I want to go back to what you were saying, Tim. I saw it about a week early, and we were like with a bunch of press, a bunch of cool people. People were excited. Everybody was excited. I had my 3D glasses on, and I was super hyped for this movie. And then when I came out, I didn't know how I felt about the movie. And like you were saying earlier, I do think it was overhyped because of what the cultural phenomenon that it is as a movie. But, you know, as a Marvel film, I definitely agree. I don't know if it was the best one. I don't know if it was my favorite one. It's up there. But after coming off of Thor Ragnarok, which was my last Marvel film that I saw, that one was phenomenal. And to have this one, some problems that I had with this one, it was a little slow, kind of like what you were saying, Kevin. They took a little bit longer to get to the point. I don't know if it was enough action sequences for me. I definitely wanted to see what Black Panther can do a little bit more. I don't know if that was just me being, you know, expecting too much, but I think there could have been a little bit more, just some more explosions or more something. I don't know. Michael Bay it up, but it did take it was a little long in some points, but it did look beautiful while it was being long. All the shots were fantastically put together. It all looked really beautiful. The colors they were using, all that, super vibrant. But with the storyline, it just took a little bit longer, and I was kind of bored. I was kind of sitting there like, all right, let's get it going. And then they would throw in randomly, like, out of nowhere, just a huge joke that would land, and it would be super funny. Like, all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, that's really funny. That's amazing. But it would just come sporadically, and I was like, oh, this is way too long between a joke for a comedic film. But this is like, you know, I don't know.
It was a heavier film. Like Thor Ragnarok.
It was
a comedy, and it was definitely a space buddy comedy. But this movie, I think the visual gags worked. Like they even so one of my favorite scenes in the movie was when Michonne from Walking Dead, who was the head of the Dora Milaje, she's on top of the car being driven by the Black Panther's ex, and they're chasing not Killmonger, they're chasing
Claw.
Yeah. And he throws a spear through one of the cars, and it lands in the road, and the car flips. And not long after that, Claw manages to shoot the car out from under them. And she just in midair, like spears part of the car and lands on it and rides it down the street. And then from behind her, you just see the X still holding the steering wheel, sitting kind of slide up next to her. I mean, it's ridiculous. There's no chance that they would live through that. But it was so funny. Like
that was really funny.
That moment. And I loved that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Watching her slide down the road on the driver's seat. Hand still on the wheel was hilarious.
Her was just a little bit back, and she had that wild look in her eyes, like she had no idea what was going on. Right. And even the same type of scene when the car the Black Panther was on got shot, and it got crushed, and his sister was remote driving it from home, and she's in the chair made of those beads that they can control, and it just disappears from under her and drops her.
False. Yeah.
I mean, that was cute too. It was a nice, funny extension of their technology. It showed what they are capable of, and I thought it fit the movie's tone very well.
Right. Well, to piggyback off what Jules was saying, I think this is part of why this movie just for me wasn't personally my favorite. I think I came to the realization that I like superhero movies one of two ways. I like them either to be comedies or I like them to be gritty and serious. So like I love the Batman trilogy that Christopher Nolan did, because it was very gritty and very serious, and that's what it was. And I was into it. And I love the Marvel movies that are funny. And I think that's why I've enjoyed these more as they've gone on, because I went from saying, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy is my favorite Marvel movie, to, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is my favorite Marvel movie. Oh, wait, Thor Ragnarok, I think, is my favorite Marvel movie. And I love the Iron Man movies because Tony Stark, to me, is a comedic character. My least favorite Marvel movie is Captain America, because Captain America does that same middle ground where it's a very heavy, very serious movie, and they try and pepper comedy in there. And I think it's when they try and walk that middle ground that I don't enjoy the movies as much. And I think that's where this one found itself. Now, of that type of movie, it's actually probably the best one. I think it's probably the funniest of the non-comedy Marvel movies. So I think it actually did a really good job walking that line. I just think this is my least favorite of the versions of the superhero movies that they try and tell. But they did an admirable job with it, which is what does make it still a very, very good movie.
Yeah, I mean, this makes me want to see Creed. This makes me want to see Fruitvale Station. So this has lifted my block on watching Creed.
Holy crap.
This young director is he's good. This guy is really good.
You were talking about the director. I was talking about Michael B. Jordan. Holy crap.
Well, no, the director directed Creed as well.
Yeah.
And as much as, don't get me wrong, as much as Michael B. Jordan at times carries this movie and totally carried the Creed movie.
No, he's so hot in this. I mean, really.
Oh, yeah. Man Crush Monday. We put him up as the Man Crush Monday.
Yeah.
Sure. But Ryan Coogler, Ryan Coogler did a fantastic job with this, and he did I thought Creed was incredible. I've said that a million times. So this guy is an up-and-comer. I mean, he's a young kid. He's, I think, still in his 20s, and he's got 2 massive hits under his belt already, with many more to come, I'm sure.
And they want him to return for a sequel to this already. Like
they should, because his voice, for sure.
It was, I mean, that he is, I think, a lot of what made this movie what it was. And I mean, that I've always said that's what makes something like this successful, is that singular vision. I think Marvel gave him enough room to have that vision, and I think he had that vision in enough clarity that he was able to translate it into the screen.
Sure. I want to talk about the main character and T'Challa and Killmonger as them going back and forth, them as the main protagonist, main antagonist. How were they together? We've seen some pretty hardcore mashups before in Marvel movies. We saw some pretty good villains. We saw some pretty good heroes. How do you think he did as a hero? How did Chadwick Boseman portray him? And can you get behind Black Panther? Can you get behind this character? Did he portray enough as a king to make you get behind him?
Can I ask a quick question about Killmonger first before Kevin answers that?
Sure.
Is that his last name, or is that his nickname, like he's a Killmonger?
I think it's his last name.
That was his nickname. I'm pretty sure that was his nickname when he was in the the CIA or something like that.
Well,
Army?
the reason
I thought
why
he
I
was
asked
Army.
this is because
Eric Killmonger?
I thought it was his nickname,
Killmonger.
that he was a Killmonger. But if you look at IMDb, it's Michael B. Jordan plays Eric Killmonger.
Yep.
So if it's his last name, fine. If it's his nickname, that's a terrible nickname. That's lame. But go ahead.
No, I think I'm pretty sure they revealed his real name in the movie when he first met T'Challa. But that was his given name outside of Wakanda.
Right.
Oh, his father's name, so we know his last name from that. But I'm pretty sure that Killmonger is a moniker that he has taken as his own name.
You can do better than Killmonger.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Kevin. Answer to this original question.
You can. You know what? I do think that Michael B. Jordan portrayed Killmonger well. I think that Chadwick Boseman did a phenomenal job with the Black Panther. I thought that as protagonist and antagonist, they were absolutely exceptionally well matched. Both of them had ideals that they were adamantly sticking to. Both of them were human. I could totally see both sides of their arguments. You could see that T'Challa just wanted to keep his people safe. There was a scene where he's talking to, and I forget the name of the guy, but the guy with the rhinos, where they're talking about immigration, and they're talking about how if they were to help the outside world, they would just bring their problems in, which I think is a great mirror for the world we're in now, but we're not going to get into politics.
Sure.
And I think that Killmonger just also wanted to help people, but he wanted to go about it in a very violent manner, to take over the world, to lead it through violence and fear was his answer to create the world he wanted, where, to Black Panther's point, you can create that world by sharing and by building bridges, by showing that everybody is the same.
Because that's what they grew up on. That's what, each character went through, that their own stuff. Killmonger did it outside of Wakanda. T'Challa, he did it inside, and you can definitely see that those ideals were bred because of how they were raised, and that's why I really felt stuff for them too, as just characters in general. Whether at some point you think Killmonger is, maybe he's actually, he's making some sense, at some point. That's kind of what we talked about in our villains episode, and villains before and after that sometimes you have to, there's only one little thing that's off about the way they're thinking, or one little thing off about, their master plan or something that makes it evil. But for the most part, it's I can see where you think this might work, and maybe it'll work, but 90% it's not.
That's, I think, why a lot of the people in Wakanda were willing to follow him even after we find out that Black Panther's still alive, because we thought he was dead. Everybody thought he was dead when he got thrown over the waterfall. So they moved on with the ritual, and that marked Killmonger as their new king.
Mm-hmm.
But the ritual wasn't ended, and so you have that fight between the warriors and the women, who both have different views on that. The trial isn't over. He's our new king. We listen to him. And I think that was a willful choice based on they thought that was the right move. Violent or not, they thought it was the right move to send their weapons to people in the world to fight back. And I get that. I really do. I feel that.
Yeah. But they did an amazing job in acting, and the way these two characters interacted was really cool. I don't know. Michael B. Jordan stole a lot of the show, I think, and even in his subsequent interviews, he just seems really cool. I never really looked at the only way that I saw Michael B. Jordan, really, because I haven't seen Creed as well, but I just saw him as, Fantastic Four, whenever he did that. But it's he's really good, and he's doing a fantastic job at this movie. So
yeah.
So I think Michael B. Jordan is the easy guy to look at in this movie and go, man, he stole the show. Because Michael B. Jordan, what he is he's the good-looking, charismatic dude. He's the dude. You think, it's funny, when I think about Michael B. Jordan, I always think of, this is what Nick Cannon could have been.
Ooh.
Don't they have a strong resemblance to each other?
They do.
They I think they look alike, even a lot of times the way they present themselves, that confidence, that vibrato. is that the word I'm looking for? Is
But
that
he's hosting.
musical
He's
word?
hosting things.
Yeah. Well, anyways, they just have a very similar aura about them.
Sure.
But Nick Cannon's a douche who couldn't do anything but be, goofy. Whereas Michael B. Jordan has proven he's got chops. He's a good actor. So not only is he a good-looking guy, not only is he charismatic, not only is he a good actor, he's also young. He's 31 years old. So he's the guy everybody looks at in this movie and goes, "Oh man, Michael B. Jordan was just incredible." And I agree. Michael B. Jordan was awesome, and he's given the best post-game interviews and all of that. Let's go and look at Chadwick Boseman, though.
Mm-hmm.
Chadwick Boseman, I didn't realize how old he was. He's 40. It's a shame it's taking him this long to kind of get his bearings, because he did a lot of TV work for a long time. Actually, he played a character in Fringe that I remember and a bunch of stuff. But from 2013 on, this guy played Jackie Robinson to much acclaim in the movie 42. He played Vontae Mack in Draft Day, which wasn't a really big movie, but as a kind of inside football fan, this was one with Kevin Costner. He played one of the football players. He was actually really good in that. He goes on and plays what's the other one? Thurgood Marshall this year in the movie Marshall. He's played some very important, very serious roles. He played where is it? Hold on, I'm missing stuff. I think he played James Brown. He played James Brown in a movie. So he's portrayed life, real life people in a very convincing way. This guy's a tremendous actor. I actually think, hopefully, that he starts to get some really serious roles, because he was so convincing in this. So convincing as the king, as the leader, as the strong but almost like reluctant. There's a humility there. That's a tough line to walk, where you're enough of a commanding presence to get the kingdom to follow you, but show enough humility to be able to admit mistakes, to look at past lessons that you thought you learned one way and switch them around. So the nuances that he has in this movie are truly impressive. I think he was incredible.
Sure.
Well, the women in this were also incredible. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
Really. You had Denai Guerrera, who played Okoye. You've got Lupita Nyong'o, who played Nakia. And was the other
Angela
one?
Bassett.
Right, as Shuri,
right?
Angela Bassett. I mean, honest to God, these women were phenomenal. When we first see Nakia, who is just, I mean, she's prisoner, she's rescued, and then she kicks ass. We first see Shuri, and she just immediately has attitude, and she's in charge of all of their technology. And
yeah, why don't you talk about that character first off, because that's a phenomenal character in the Marvel.
She's one of my favorite parts of the whole movie.
Shuri, yeah,
Shuri. Absolutely. I think maybe my favorite part of the whole movie, because she was the comedy. She was very funny, but she's also clearly tremendously skilled and very powerful in her own right, in the role that she plays in that universe.
That's exactly it. I mean, she was the reason that the Black Panther has the technology he has. She is the reason that all of this exists. And in the comics, she actually becomes the Black Panther at least once to take over for T'Challa when he's in a coma. They're setting that up. And there's a fan theory I was reading the other day that they're actually setting her up to replace Iron Man in one of the upcoming movies.
Wow.
In the current run of Iron Man comics, there's a girl, Riri Williams, who is Ironheart, and she is the current Iron Man in certain things. And so the theory is that they're sort of mashing together Black Panther's sister, the other Black Panther, and Riri Williams to make her, because she is smart enough to sort of further the technology.
Yeah, sure. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or in the Marvel comics, Shuri, she's 15, I think 15 right now in this movie, but she's one of the smartest minds in the world right now. So she's up there with all of the great intelligences that are in the world on Earth, and that's phenomenal to have a 15-year-old girl from Wakanda to be up there with everybody to make all this technology. And definitely would love to see her. Why not give her a suit? Sure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
give this man a shield. Give this woman a suit. Actually, I saw a couple of interesting Twitter posts this week. There was a lot of fan reaction, and I never would have thought about it in this context, but she's got to be one of the new popular Disney princesses.
Yep.
She's now a Disney character. She is a princess. So where's the Shuri doll? Let's get that Shuri doll with the gadgets and the dresses and all that stuff. This is cool. I think that's a great idea and a great concept.
Wow.
You press her stomach and she just goes, "What are those?" Over and over again.
Those are his tachanclas. I saw that on Twitter. I'm sorry.
Right. But Michonne kicked ass in this movie too. I mean, Michonne always kicks ass. I mean, should not be shocking. She's in The Walking Dead. From a battle standpoint, she was my favorite character. Nobody actually fought as convincingly as Michonne. I don't think I really enjoyed watching anybody else fight. It was all kind of lame. Like maybe Daryl with the crossbow.
Sure.
But watching Michonne walk around and chop people's head off like it's freaking cheese. That was I used to love that, and she was such a strong character in this, both in her presence but in her convictions. Very, very tied to her convictions.
I do want to touch on one character, Martin Freeman's character, as I don't know. That felt a little forced, and I don't see his purpose a lot of the time. But towards the end, he did make up what him learning the technology how to fly. We definitely needed him for that. But like, I could have gone without all that. You know what I mean?
This was part of how they see that they can integrate with the rest of the world.
Right? Yeah, but him as a character, did he need to be that big of a character in it?
No. You know what? You're having a problem with his accent because it was a really awkward accent.
There you go. That's what it was.
That's all it is. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I think that they're making him the new Coulson. And
okay.
So I think that that's where we are. He's going to be the one that sort of brings together everyone for the next movie, because he's going to be the reason that he's the one that sort of knows what's going on behind the scenes because of his connections. So he has information that like Tony Stark doesn't have. I think there's another fan theory that he has a connection to Captain Marvel, which I don't know if I buy or not, but we know he was in the Air Force. We know that Captain Marvel was in the Air Force at around the same time. So it's possible that they flew together. But that would actually work very well for all of this. Okay. But he knows all about Ant-Man and all of that, and the original Ant-Man and Wasp and all. So there's more knowledge there than I think he's being given credit for.
Okay.
Plus, favorite joke of the week, you need the Tolkien white guys.
That's right.
Oh, God.
The two white guys in the movie are from Tolkien movies.
So let's talk
about white guys.
We get it.
I love it.
We get it.
It's not my joke. I just thought it was fantastic.
But so we have that scene where they have Claw strapped to a chair, duct taped to a chair in a CIA
something holding area.
Okay,
safe house, right?
Maybe, but they're definitely in like a storeroom. There's a mop behind them. There's a bunch of paper towels and one of those one-way mirrors, like two-way mirrors. I just think that's a waste. Either you've got a safe house and you've built this room so you can interrogate people, or it's a storeroom. It costs like $10 to put up a new wall right behind you so that we don't have to see your dirty mop. I just think that this was way too thrown together, and if it's way too thrown together, why did it have the mirror?
Right, mirrors take a little bit of time.
Don't you want to make it look like completely it's just the storeroom in case someone breaks in
and then sees that you have a weird two-way mirror? That's weird.
But they don't know that it's a two-way mirror. They just look at it as a mirror.
It's still weird to have a mirror in a storeroom.
Listen, there's vain janitors too.
I guess.
Custodial engineers. Sorry.
Well, do you want to talk about the Claw character? I don't know. As a villain, he was pretty believable. I enjoyed Andy Serkis as him.
For now. How weird was it to see Andy Serkis as like a muscular bad guy, though?
I almost didn't know it was him. I was like, is that him?
Really weird.
Yeah. Did they do CGI to make him look like that?
It's possible, because I don't think
they shoot all
done anything non-CGI
with ping pong balls on it. But no, he was spectacular. Like, he was a cartoon character, but that totally fit that character.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you see that in the first scene where he's really in this movie, when he tells the security guard that you can go, and then as the guy's running away, he shoots him and explains that it's to make them look like amateurs. My God, he fit that character.
It was super great.
so well. And all of it, like up to and including the weird rubber hand that split down the middle, and had that sonic disruptor thing in it. That was so cool and just also awkward at the same time, but totally fit. And I've heard a lot of people complain that if Killmonger's plan was to take him back to Wakanda and use him to gain entrance, why not just kill him when you first get him? And really the answer is that he needed the Black Panther to fail to get him. Like, he needed to humiliate Black Panther so that he could get back to Wakanda and show them that the Black Panther was unable to do what he could do.
Sure.
And then totally humiliate him again.
Yeah.
I thought that fit. I loved that.
Yeah, I mean, there are, like, it all made sense. That's what I really liked about this movie, and well, for the most part, we're talking about a city that's covered up, that has the most advanced technology in the world, but it did all kind of make sense. The storyline, the way that it was presented, these characters did have their own reasons behind everything. They had emotions. There was so much great character development, even whenever
characters.
Yeah, whenever they were like asking, whenever T'Challa was asking the tribe that was away from them, we need you, this is us, all of those sentimental moments, all those moments between characters, they put a bunch of different characters together at different times, and that made the movie pretty long, and sometimes it felt a little long, but it was all working, and it all was beautiful to see all these different characters interact, because they were all, some of them cartoon characters, some of them like over the top, but like a lot of them, all of them were human, and it was great. DC needs to take a step and get their villain to be human. Please get some more human villains out there, and we'll connect with them.
Right. I mean, we had the when they had the first challenge, we had M'Baku as sort of a villain character. He's the leader of the outside tribe, but he's still challenging for dominance. And I love him. Like, he was such a good character because he was able to put aside his petty want for power to say, this is what's best for our country. I could take your herb, let our king die and become the king, or I can show you that the king is here and you can save him and he can save us. I mean, what actual villain would ever do that?
Right.
It showed depth of character there. W'Kabi, same thing. He's dating Okoye, or married to, I don't even know what their relationship
is.
Right. They're loved ones. They love each other. We know that. They're each other's loves. That much we know.
And yet they were fighting each other at the end. And he's like, could you really kill me? And she's like, for Wakanda? Yes. As you
That's so wild.
Yeah, that's why I say, for her convictions, like the convictions of those female characters who fought in the end, unbelievable.
If you watch his face in that moment, if you watch him very clearly, that actor is so good because you can see that he just goes, oh shit, I made the wrong choice.
Yeah.
Looks around and realizes that, and then all of his guys just stop. And their shields, which I loved their shields being built into the cloth that they were wearing.
That's wild. So
like,
cool.
the shield was so good. I mean, it was just, it fit. All of it fit so well that I'm so happy that movie worked out the way it did. The actors were great. Everything about it.
Yeah, Daniel Kaluuya is another guy I wanted to talk about because he was the breakout guy in Get Out this year.
Yes.
The sleeper Oscar movie, this little low-budget horror film that all of a sudden is nominated for Best Picture, and he was the star in that. So what a year for that guy, just showcasing that all of a sudden you could just come out of nowhere and be this tremendous star. I mean, he's a star right now.
Oh, he really is. And he's a star on the rise, too, because he was spectacular in this. And I think that there's nothing but good things coming for him. So
we're giving a ton of praise here because it was actually really good. Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on that you didn't really enjoy, or anything we haven't covered that could have been fixed or could have been done better? I have some things I want to touch on, but do y'all have anything first?
So the only real complaint I have for this is the war rhinos.
They weren't used enough.
Okay.
First off, they weren't used enough. And secondly, the CGI was just a little awkward on them. They looked a little cartoony, but some of that was due to the fact that they were, like, it was really bright. This was a really great movie.
That's what I was gonna say. That before you said that, I was like, they were really colorful and they were really out
Oh,
there. Yeah.
yeah.
CG was one of the problems I had with this movie, and I don't know, I don't think it's that the CG wasn't good. It was just jarring. There was a few scenes where you watch the plane, the futuristic spaceship plane, fly through the
Yeah.
I don't know the word to describe it, but the land of Africa is kind of burnt out a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's got that muted green feel, those muted brown feels because of the sun. And the ship is so polished and colorful that it didn't look like it fit. And I
Sure.
don't know that that's maybe, I don't know if that's the problem of the CGI, if there wasn't a better way to blend it, or if it's just, you know, the juxtaposition of the two different things. But there was a lot of times where the CGI just felt peculiar because of the way it contrasted with the surroundings. Like the tone was inconsistent. So again, I don't know if that's fixable or not fixable, but it was weird.
I mean, that's entirely possible because, and I get what you're saying. It did look a little out of place, but I think the other side of that is that thematically, at least, I loved the look of that ship. Like I
Oh
loved
yeah.
it looked like a traditional tribal African mask if you looked at it from below. And I loved the way that all of their clothing and all of their garb was that like really old traditional
Yeah.
colorful, awesome stuff. But you
Oh
have
man.
mixed in that you have people wearing, three-piece suits.
Oh, that guy with the disc in
Oh,
his lip.
he
He
was
had. Oh,
he
this
was
is movie.
great. And I'm very glad that there wasn't a moment where we found out that that was like a computer or something. Just things can just be things. You don't have to have everything touched on
Right.
like that. And I just loved that.
His
I mean,
suits were phenomenal.
they were.
Yeah, the art style and the wardrobe was pretty fantastic.
Yeah. But again, we're talking about things that we didn't really like. I noticed that thing in the ship that you were talking about, Tim. I did notice. I was like, this looks a little weird. And I think the other side, they could have been like, this looks a little weird. We have to go through the whole movie and color grade Africa up a a bit. No, let's
Yeah,
not
I
do
can't
that.
do that. Right? I
No,
know.
we're done. But for me, I don't know. I think after I came out of it, I don't know what I was expecting really going into it. I didn't want to know anything about it. I kind of secluded myself from anything Black Panther, any reviews or any. I heard that people were liking it and there was like a lot of hype behind it. It was, the highest pre-sold tickets or whatever. And I was like, cool. All that, I heard some of that, but I didn't hear anything about the story or anything. And I came out of it like, where's everybody else? Like, I don't know. This was an origin story, but I went in there not knowing it was going to be an origin story, and I think that messed with the way I saw the movie.
Sure. I mean, this took place, we know, 1 week after the events in Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
1 week. But at the end of that movie,
Look at me. Okay.
Cap drops Bucky off at Wakanda so they can find a cure for his brainwashing. Where at the end of this, we see Bucky, he seems cured, he seems calm, and they call him the White Wolf, which is a completely different character. We're not going to get into that. But have they cured him? Did more than a week pass? Like I'm confused a little bit with the timeline there. I guess it's technically possible that scene is like 4 months later or something. But I don't know, like that I would want a little more explanation on.
Sure.
If this is a week after the events of Civil War, where is Captain America? Did he just drop off Bucky and then bolt? Was he still in the area? Was he just like napping when all of this was going on and he has no idea what happened? Or was he off somewhere else rescuing Ant-Man and all of them from the raft? Like it just, to your point, I wish we had a little bit of like, this is what happened.
Sure.
He was in a hut and they were working on his brain.
Yeah. But see, I didn't even know that it was, I didn't know where it was on the timeline. Even when I went in there, I knew I was looking all the stuff up after I watched the movie, but going in there, I was like, I thought it was going to be present day. They showed us some past stuff and I was like, oh, okay, here's where they're kind of at. But then still I was like, there's some other, this is the movie right before Infinity War. Like, where's everybody? Come on. I don't know what I was expecting. So that's what kind of messed with the way I watched the movie. And I know the second time around, I'm going to like it a little bit better. And because I'm not going to watch it in 3D, because that looked horrible in 3D for some reason. I really didn't like it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. The movie right before Infinity War, I wanted to see more characters. And I think that's a personal thing for me.
See, I think that this was a fine movie without anybody else. I think we're reaching the point where there's just too much expectation that there's going to be other characters in this. And I love that this was such like a ground level problem, that this wasn't something the Avengers would be brought in on. Like there's zero chance that you would call in Captain America or Iron Man or anybody you're friends with to help you win back your kingdom.
Sure. I mean,
how traditional they were with that.
Because Doctor Strange,
don't want other people in that yet. They don't want people in. At that point, they hadn't made that decision that they wanted anybody in Wakanda.
No, I mean Cap knows it's there. He was there, but that's, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Doctor Strange was one of my favorite movies still, just because I love all that magic stuff, and it looked really beautiful and it was really awesome. But if I would have went in knowing that Black Panther was going to be like a singular, like a Wonder Woman, like a Doctor Strange, then I probably would have seen it different. I don't know. I still need to see it for a second time, but that's just me. That some people might feel, maybe a small minority, but it was an amazing movie, don't get me wrong, but the way that I came out of it was like, oh, that's all I saw from everybody else. Okay, Infinity War, here I come. But as a singular origin, as a singular movie, it was pretty good and one of the top Marvel movies.
But I think in subtle ways it's setting us up for Infinity War. Because everyone's expecting the reveal that the Soul Stone was there in Wakanda.
Yes.
And we had no hint of that.
No.
I still think it is. I think the Soul Stone is the base.
The vibranium.
Vibranium. I think that it is what gives the vibranium its powers. I think it's why this country seems to be the only place on Earth with an accessible afterlife. And I think that it's what bled into the herbs, and like we kind of see that in the opening sequence when they actually show it coming from the vibranium into the herbs and plants. Mm-hmm. So I think that this is going to be Thanos showing up to take that from them. Hopefully it doesn't mean that it's the end of all vibranium on Earth or anything like that, but it may even be that they are the only ones that can hurt him because they can, like the vibranium itself is infused with the power of the stone and can.
Yeah, I mean, we saw in the
Black Panther's invincible. So
he's invisible.
He is invisible.
No, we saw the Wakandan tribes in the trailers for Infinity War. Yeah. So it's gonna take place there, and they're probably gonna be the ones that can do some harm to him.
M'Baku is listed as being in Infinity War too, so we're gonna see the Gorilla tribe. He's fighting in the trailer. I think we've seen him.
Yeah, we've seen him.
So, I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. We're going to see a lot of that. A lot of the fight takes place there. We see, in that trailer, Hulk is there. So Bruce Banner is going to show up there. It's going to be great.
That's why, I was apprehensive because it was like, we'd never seen this place before. And everything that's been leading up to this movie is going to take place here. And I'm like, holy shit. I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but it settled everything. This movie I'm okay. I can probably tell you, what shops are what in Wakanda now. Like I feel so comfortable there. It's really cool. So we already talked about how we're gonna rate new movies going into year 2.
I have an idea with that.
Oh, what?
I wanted to bring this up workshop beforehand, but didn't do it. So let's just do it on the podcast. So,
all right.
I have an idea to make a more complicated, but maybe a more even rating system. A lot of times we just come up with an arbitrary, I gave Jumanji a 6.5 because I didn't think it was a very good movie, although it was very entertaining, right? So sure. What if we rated on several different categories?
But William, I need a chart. Give us some graphs.
Let's say we weighted whether we liked the movie or not heavier. So, for example, let's say we have 5 total categories, but do you like the movie counts as 2. So, what you give it a 1 to 10? Do you like it? Acting and directing, the story, and the visuals. So those are 5 components, right?
Okay.
And then we just average it out. Each one of us gives it our thing, and then we average it out. We give it a Nerdy Things overall rating.
Seems like a ton of work.
That seems
It's
a lot
really
of
very
Kevin
simple.
work.
So
Tim, you want to spearhead
I
that?
could do that, dude. I could do that work right now. It's simple math. So let's say, for example, let's say Tim's going to rate this movie, and he goes, "Did he enjoy the movie?" Well, yes, I enjoyed it very much. So I'm going to give that a 9. 9 times 2 is 18. Okay. Acting and direction. I think it was absolutely fantastic. I'm actually going to give it a 10. So we do plus 10. Story. I had issues with the story. I'm going to give that a 6.5. Visuals were outstanding. I'm going to give it a 9. Divided by 5 and 8.7. Simple math.
All right.
Right?
We got to write that down, though. We got to
Okay.
make sure we do the same. So year 2, we're complicating it all. We're making it more in depth, and it's more of a in-depth review of all the different aspects that we like that we just came up with on the podcast. Look at that. You were there for the workshop. You saw. You didn't need to be a patron to see all that happen. It's right here for you in the podcast. So,
and then we can like post our reviews. Like Tim gave it an 8.7, Kevin gave it a 9.2. Julie,
I'm not going to remember
overall.
that.
So the overall rating, we can post it on. We'll do a graphic. And we'll put it on Instagram and on Twitter and stuff. I'll do the graphic.
Okay. What were the things?
If you like the movie, that counts double.
Yeah.
If you like the acting and directing, that's one of them. If you like the story, if you like the visuals, and that is all.
That's it.
That's it.
Yep.
Cool. So 9.6 because I think that the acting and directing were great. That I loved it, so I gave it a 10 in both. I think that the visuals were a 9 out of 10 because of the rhino problems and what Tim said about the
rhino problems.
Rhino problems. You need a rhino exterminator, and I think that the story wasn't perfect, so I'd give that a 9 as well. So 9.6.
Wow, we didn't want to start the year off on a high note again, where good grief.
9.6. It's not a 10.
At least we didn't give it an 11.
It's not an 11.
There you go. So I moderately liked it. Again, I had some problems. Again, it'll probably change once I see it twice, but I gave if you liked it, I gave it an 8. Acting and directing, gave it a 10. Storyline, I think... I don't know why. I just felt like it was really slow. I'm not going to give it like a perfect 9 or 10. I'll give it an 8, just an average 8. And then for visuals, it looked pretty beautiful. And I'm not talking about the CGI. I didn't notice the rhino stuff. I just thought it was really colorful, and I thought it went with it. And I was in 3D glasses, so I was like, whatever. But everything, all the afterlife stuff, we didn't even talk about all that afterlife stuff. It looked really beautiful. All the African stuff.
That was really cool.
It all looked really nice. So I'm going to probably give it a 9. And then divide that by, what do we divide it by? All right. 8.6.
Nice.
All right. So 9.6 from Kev. Yep. 8.6 from Jules. Mine was just an example. I actually just graded it accurately. 8.3.
Very nice. So good movie.
All right, yeah. William, if you want to take all of that and send it to us in an email, get some bar graphs going. Thank you so much. And shout out to you, William, because you send us a lot of good emails, and we do read through them all. And they're really awesome.
Email from William that just said things like, "No, Tim, you're wrong." And then he said, "I don't know the context for this, but I had to send it." That was, it fits with everything. So
it could be anything. It could have been.
I only get the condensed versions of the emails anyways, so that's fine.
No, I love
down to that.
Yeah, I love the reviews of episode 1, 2, 3 going forward. Thank you for re-listening to the podcast or starting it. I don't know if you started it with us, but going back, and everybody should go back and listen to our podcast because it's pretty good.
Forgive us for the early episodes.
Yeah, forgive me and Kev. So yeah, we you heard our general consensus on Black Panther, and again, we're changing it up this year. Year 2, we're starting. This is the very first movie that we're rating, and we're starting it a little bit different. So all that other 11, 12, all that stuff is going to be different. We're probably going to say that every time, but this is how we're going to rate the movies now. And if you've seen Black Panther, let us know. What did you think about it? What did you like? What didn't you like? Did we get it wrong or anything like that? You can reach us on most social media at Nerdy Things Pod. That's Nerdy Things Pod. You can also send us an email at nerdythingspod@gmail.com. You can visit our website, nerdythingspod.com, for the latest nerdy news updated daily and links to our merch for shirts and more. Links to YouTube to watch the podcast episodes because we do these in video. Our Patreon for extra content like bloopers and early access to our stuff. And you can text us or leave us a voicemail, 978-78-NERDY. That's 978-786-3739. And we'd love to hear your voicemails or texts. You can reach us there. Tell us about Black Panther. Tell us about anything. Suggest us stuff. Tell us that our new rating system shit. Whatever you want, we'll play it on the podcast.
And we'd love to hear, especially on this movie, because we understand, like we said, the cultural significance. So we'd love to hear from people who are not 2 white guys and a Mexican. You know, tell us if this movie really did mean something to you from your own personal point of view. We'd love to hear about that on social media as well, because we get that this is a big thing. So it's good, I think, to hear people who have a different point of view than we do.
Yep. I'd like to thank Adipsia for the use of his song, Friends Don't Let Friends. Go to TGI Fridays. You can hear more of his music at adipsia.bandcamp.com. He just released a new album called Imbue.
The Stoic.
All right.
And I'd like to thank the Bell Curve for the music we used under the main topic. All right, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.